All right, we're back in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the Coca Museum. This is 2.0. This is going to be a bike fest, a classic bike fest. Hundreds of you have asked, a couple of you have asked. Okay, one of you has asked for this. So I'm in the area and let's go take a look at those classic bikes. This way for stuff. All right, let's get started. 1916 is the year, and this is a Harley Davidson twin, as I'm sure you all know. You know what, guys, they put the bikes up pretty high here. There's one above it, but I can't even get to it. But I can get to the one below. This is 1917. Standard color was green. This is the year that the US entered the First World War. So apparently green was the color, the standard color. This is absolutely mint. I don't want to keep the length of this video too long, so I'm not sure I can go into as much detail with every single bike, but this one is just well worth looking at in detail. Moving just up 7 years, another Harley, 1925. The only real noticeable differences between this and the 1917 is they've kind of rounded off the fuel tank a little bit, and you have the an updated headlight at the top there. Actually, the more I look at it, the more there are quite a number of changes. Nice. All right, these are not going to come in chronological order, so we're leaping forward to 1947. Harley Davidson twin flathead, 74 cubic inch. Speedo on top of the tank. Anybody wants to get technical, let me know in the comments if they've got more information. So this is a Harley race bike from the following year, 1948, ridden by a William Lee Flowers. This I would call in more original condition rather than restored, although who knows, it may have been restored at one point during its life. 1948. Staying with the racing theme but going all the way back to 1914, this is a twin cylinder board track racer. The bike above it, I don't know if I can get any sort of view. The bike above it is from 1908. It's a Reading standard single cylinder. I'll stand back a bit in a minute and get a better view perhaps. Or we'll do the top row at on a different loop of the museum. Alright, 1914 Harley Davidson 2-cylinder board track racer. Well, apart from the top row being a bit inaccessible, I can't really get to some of these bikes because they've got the cars backed right into the bike displays here. Let's see what we can do. 1947, another Harley, of course, flat head 45 two-cylinder, 1947. Like the panniers. Above it, 1928, a pea shooter board track racer. Beautiful. That's the closest I can get, guys. Yep, not easy to see from here, but this is an Excelsior from 1913. 3 years later, another Excelsior. And 1917 on the top row. Another Excelsior. And I can see to the right of that is 1913. There's a 1913 Excelsior, but I'm too blind to read the rest of the card. Below it, 1914. And below that is from 1929, a Henderson. Let me see if I can get closer to tell you what it is. Unfortunately, they've not left any room between the cars to get to some of these bikes. They managed to find a gap between the cars. 1928 Henderson, 4-cylinder, as we can see. Back to 1915. Look at the gearing on that. It says motorcycle 2-cylinder restored. Yep. That is most definitely the case. And above it, I'll step back in a minute, the first Japanese bike that I've seen here, Kawasaki from 1980. Kawasaki Police 1000 is what it says there. Another view of the Kawasaki. To the right of that 1931 Excelsior. 1914, and they've got the cordon up here, guys, so that's the closest I can get to the bottom one. Well, I know it's an Excelsior, but I can't see the year. Alright, top row, top shelf, 1913 Reading Standard. That 1 year before, another Excelsior, and another one just says Excelsior Super. Like as heaven. 2 from 1911, a Thor 4. And an Excelsior. And another one on the top row, top shelf, 1917. $1908. I think that's the oldest bike we've seen. 1908, Thor 4. Single cylinder, obviously. Wow. I'll have to to know the history behind some of these bikes. No brakes on the front. Oh, I said that was the oldest, but it isn't. This is 1907. Excelsior Supply Company of Chicago is written on the fuel tank. This is 1907, single belt drive. Let's zoom in on the 1907 was the first year of production for Excelsior motorcycles, which operated from that year until 1931. Ignaz Schwinn of Schwinn Bicycle purchased Excelsior in 1912. Okay. Well guys, believe it or not, that is a Harley Davidson. Yep. On 1928 Excelsior in obviously unrestored condition, which kind of has a fascination all of its own, doesn't it? If it's not restored. The one above it, however, is 1913 Sears Deluxe. Very nice. Above the Sears is a Cushman from 1962. And I think that's about it for the bikes. And I think we pretty much got to most of them by sneaking behind the cordon. The instruction was don't touch, and I haven't touched anything. Well, when I said we were out of motorcycles, that was a complete lie. We've got another whole wall. Let's get stuck in. Top row. A. James. Guys, this is the closest I can get, I'm sorry. From 1915, 1953 Nimbus. Sad to say I can't actually read what's on the tank there, but I'm pretty sure it's a Harley Davidson. Back up to the top row, a very old, new Hudson. Something that's beginning to look a little bit more familiar. A Honda CB350. And the amazing Honda family. CB family, I should say. Another Harley. Best I can do with that one. To the right of it, another one. Apparently Harley Davidson was only one of two motorcycles to make it through the Great Depression. Anyone know the other one? 1966 Honda. Can't make out anything more, and above that is an Indian. I'm almost sure, but not 100%. To the right of that, 1914 Indian. (1909) and 1919. Hiding behind a Bentley Continental from, by the looks of it, about 2007. Okay, staying with Indian and the Indian and Honda theme, 1941. And whatever Honda that is. Well, I'd say the British Racing Green of that E-Type or XKE pretty much matches up with this 1917 Harley Davidson with its sidecar. Okay, hiding behind the E-Type, 1930 Indian. A Harley, can't make out the year, we'll check in a minute. Another Harley above. And, is that an early Suzuki? Which says Crocker above it, is that relevant? Oh, it's a little early Yamaha. My first bike at the age of 16 was a Yamaha DT50 Enduro. And downhill with a tailwind I could get 35 miles per hour out of it. 1912 Indian. Have a look at that Harley without that I didn't know the date of, and I still don't know the date of it. Nothing here to help me out with that one. So a chap that worked for Harley Davidson, Joseph Paul Treen, left Harley Davidson after the Great Depression because they wouldn't make a lightweight motorcycle. So he came up with this simplex servicycle. This example is from 1952, when apparently sales were dwindling thanks to foreign scooters arriving after World War II. Bloody foreigners. Made in New Orleans. Right next to that is another lightweight motorcycle from 1947, a Whizzer. I'm trying to tell you a little bit about it. That was made in LA. So Schwinn dominated the motorcycle industry so much that when Whizzer produced its own motorbike on a frame that looked very similar, they decided to give Schwinn the manufacturing rights of the frame rather than go to court.